I would adjust. So first, it is this leg. The problem is his leg is turning really outwards, you know? So this looks a bit uncomfortable, to be honest. Like from this leg on, he's standing, but this looks like he would make a step, you know, but he's not leaning into that direction. I would suggest maybe straighten up the foot a bit more. Then it's more like a straight leg versus this angled leg, because this is always when we are in motion. Yeah, definitely. It would change the readability because then he has more of a solid stand. So everything becomes a bit more frontal here, but it's also a bit easier to design than, or to translate because you designed it already. Yeah, maybe more like this, you know? Other point would be these guys here. They are very prominent right now, and they look also very stiff. So as I remember, I liked they look way thinner, you know?
Yeah.
And I liked also that you did this here with a little bit thicker part and thinner part, so it looked more like an insect antenna. And I feel like this, also like the way you communicated here is much better than in here. Like this, I understand what this is, but design-wise, I like this one way better because it feels like more of a part. Like this is basically mantled, and then making this thinner at a certain area. No, it gives it, it makes it less heavy. It communicates that he would run and walk with it without hesitation, you know? But they look very thick if you look to the right side, for example.
Yeah, they are.
And it also, like, tech stuff sometimes has a lot of fidelity, so I think we can use that to our advantage. And it would make a lot of sense also from an industrial standpoint if they would have these mantle parts here, which are the same material as the shoulder pads. So what we could also try, maybe considering that these, maybe not all the same size, you know? Maybe they vary a bit. Or how it is like right now, it's interesting. But they also look very long, because like when he runs somewhere, you don't want to like stick with this stuff in the door or something, because it's too long. Yeah, and then I would actually make these guys also add a bit more gravitation. So that it looks really more like a bug.
It does.
Antenna, you know? More organic in a way. I like how this turned out. This is something I would think about.
Yeah.
Because
I want to redo it.
Looks a bit lost. Maybe it doesn't need to be a band or something. Maybe it could be like just another shape, you know? Just repeating these shapes we use for the whole design. This is cool. And we also need to do it on the other side here. And then same game here. Make these boys thinner. I can make this work quickly here. So what I liked about this design was definitely the shapes, but this material here looks very stiff through going very far in that direction.
I was thinking those like antennas that point out at the bottom would actually be like a base to keep that shape. Like it would like follow through.
I mean, then we have two options. So either we just follow gravitation a little bit more, you know, or if we don't want to do it, so we do it like it was before, like this. Then I would say then you need to emphasize this by basically adding that there is some sort of structure in this thing, that it has a reason why this is that stiff, because it's built this way, or it's maybe integrated or something. There's like a wire framing of this. But we need to communicate it, otherwise the viewer will not understand this. Okay, so the decision is on you, what you prefer, but that's the tricky part of the design, is to still convey the idea we have for him, but also we want to show our design. But on the other side, it's also sci-fi, so it could be of a new material we maybe don't know. So there's this fine line of this. This needs more detail here, more clarity. You know, so we cannot just emphasize something like this and then do not really explain what's happening. Same for these holes here, like we need to, like this part looks like a flat piece.
Yeah, true.
Glued on his hand. And the problem is, or just think about this. If you would build this piece, like really building it, you know, think about how you would build it and how you would attach it to your hand. That makes sense, right? Because you wouldn't flat glue something on it because the hand is moving a lot. So we always have this problematic when we basically do something like this. It would basically block everything. And then he also has this on top. So he basically has a stiff arm. It's not, even though, like, then you need to communicate this is like rubber, and like there is a lot of questions now to that point. So we need to figure out this, but it's not a problem. All we need to do is basically just taking it out and then just like thinking about, okay, what makes sense, right? And the first step is always to reduce and then build up, you know? So if there's some sort of like, if the purpose is armor, then okay, but then we need to give the hand enough freedom to move. The fingers need enough space to move. Then even the thumb would have a little bit of padding here. And you can take a look at motorcyclists' suits, at football padding. There's so much different types of padding you can try. Then you can think about also cutting it and then coming back with our shape design, right? So now how can we incorporate the shape design in here? Maybe following the form. So it makes even more sense. Then we can have also going from big to small. So maybe every shape gets a bit smaller at some point. Try not to lose rounding on these things, because this is a round form. I mean, in general, you did a very good job, buddy. Now it's really like fine-tuning and making sure that this stuff is really well communicated. So how is this built? How, like this should look the same. Like also use the space. So if he has cameras or something, that's a cool idea, but follow the form and also make sure like these silhouette shapes here, they need to be even more precise. Like this is built by a machine. This is not handmade. So we have very clear edge control here. But so far, man, I mean, like considering how far we came from, like where we started with this and now you pushed it so far, I mean, you can be proud of yourself. It looks very nice.
Really fun. I'm excited for the other characters too, once we finish up this guy.
I mean, the detail on it, you could still try to figure out like where you could add a little bit more detail. Not to overkill it, but to just improve it.
Yeah.
We could think of taking this away to improve silhouette and make this negative shape better here. One thing you can remember for the future, the opposite arm or the opposite leg is always an opportunity to communicate the design from a different side. Okay, so when you have something like this, you can then communicate how is this working, like how is this hand looking if we turn it around, you know? So the design process doesn't stop there. So next step then is starting with the simple cell shading. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe. If you also want to get mentored by me, make sure to check out my website, janusz-art.zone, and apply for the mentorship. Otherwise, see you in the next video. Take care. Ciao, ciao.